I don't have time, Clay. I don't have time.
Yeah.
How does RIPL solve that problem for small business owners?
Not only does it give you the ability with thousands of templates, but we also built all the connections for you to the major social media platforms.
What is the most important quality of a CEO?
Curiosity. It's actually the thing I think I have to work on all the time. It's a lifelong endeavor for me to make sure I'm asking more questions than answering.
Welcome to Marks About Media. If you are an entrepreneur trying to grow your social media presence, you are in the right place. So stick around, smash like, because today we are joined by the CEO of RIPL, which is a marketing software tool for small business owners and entrepreneurs. Clay McDaniel, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much. Glad to be here, Mark.
Yeah, Clay, it's my pleasure. I've actually been playing around with RIPL here over the past day. Really cool program. So I want to know from you, Clay, what is RIPL and who is it for? Give me the 1,000-foot overview.
Yeah, sure. So RIPL is an app that we built just for people that are starting out, getting their feet wet, or maybe they've even got years of experience under their belt, but they're just not quite sure how to put their best foot forward on social media. Maybe they have a passion for their business, but they sometimes find it hard to find the time to get that regular frequency, a regular cadence of posts out on their social media channels. Or perhaps they just are a little bit worried that what they make isn't going to look great or turn out quite right. We built RIPL from the ground up with just an easy interface, simple tools to kind of give everybody the confidence they need to promote their business and to stand out from all the rest of the feeds with social media posts that are animated, short videos, and that really put your kind of style and your brand and your best look forward.
I think it's super important now. But I will say, Clay, that there are some small business owners and entrepreneurs I know out there that are still kind of like, no, it's social media. I don't believe in social media. Have you heard this before? I don't believe in social media. What would you?
Well, and you know, yeah, and I travel all around the country, and what I hear most often is, I just don't know if that's going to help my business. I feel like if I have a website, that's important because that's a place for people to come find me and look me up on the web. I feel like I need to have my phone number out there. I need to be available, but I'm just not quite sure what social media is going to do for me. And what I tell people most often is social media has become like the storefront for your business. We're living now 10 months into an experience where it may not be possible to walk into a retail storefront or walk into a restaurant in person. And so the main goal of your social media activities should just be to make sure you look your best and that you show up online with frequent posts that show off your products, your services, your business, and just basically help your customers, your prospective customers know what it is you have on offer and to look great doing it.
Yeah. I mean, you're 100% correct. When people are cooped up in their homes on their smartphone, look around you. Everyone around you is on their smartphone right now. You know what they're doing? They're browsing social media. To me, social media isn't so much about selling, but it's about establishing a presence, which is difficult to sell a small business owner because they're not seeing that direct ROI, at least not initially. Do you think that social media is more a long-term play or just if you're not in it now, you're going to be dead in a year?
Well, both. I mean, both. I think a couple of years ago, we could have argued, well, if you're posting occasionally, that's probably fine. You need to have those branded social bios and accounts out there so that when people search on you, you've got more than just the URL or the website that pops up in those organic search results. But what we've learned in the COVID-19 era is that, honestly, your social media feeds may be your first best place where you can give daily updates about your hours of operation, if you're sold out of something, if you have new inventory, if your menu has changed. I mean, just to give you one example, a year or two ago, social media posts would have been kind of a nice way to maybe announce a new home on the market for a real estate agent. And it's increasingly becoming the primary way that home tours and open homes or open houses are happening is, via Mattermark videos and Instagram tours and Facebook page updates. So I would say it's both a present and a sort of future here to stay required place that you need to have a great presence for your business.
To me, it's almost like putting your name in the phone book, right? Like if you don't have a social media account, it's kind of like having a business without a number in a phone book for any old schoolers out there that remember those big books that we used to look in. But we're talking about social media. I agree. I think it's just a necessity. You need to have some sort of strategy. You'd mentioned earlier that a lot of small business owners are nervous because they're just not creative enough, or they don't want to put out the wrong messaging. The other challenge I think that we have as small business owners is time. I don't have time, Clay. I don't have time to be pumping out a Facebook post and then an Instagram story and then a LinkedIn update. I don't have time for that. How does RIPL solve that problem for small business owners?
Yeah, I mean, this was one of the main reasons why the app was built in the first place, is that not only does it give you the ability with thousands of templates to kind of pick your style, include your brand or your logo, and get that piece of content, whether that's a short video or a little animated slideshow, ready, but we also built all the connections for you to the major social media platforms. So whether you've got a Facebook page, a Twitter account, a YouTube channel where you host your videos, an Instagram feed, Instagram business, whatever it is that you've got set up for your business, you can just do one click attachment of those to your RIPL account. And it saves you so much time, because then whatever you've built, you just say, click, 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 share, and off it goes. So you don't have to jump around to different apps. You don't have to spend, we also have a scheduling tool in there. So let's say that you want to build 5, 6, 8 posts in advance, because you might sit down and take 20 minutes and get everything ready for the week or two ahead, with the sales you want to announce, a post about how much you love your staff, recognition of a favorite customer. You can build all that quickly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then schedule each of them to go out over the next week or two. And then you're done, and you can spend the rest of your next couple of weeks focusing on your customers and your business. Yeah.
Well, I will say that scheduling is very, very crucial to any sort of social media strategy, because if you've ever had that feeling where you wake up and, I got to post something today, it's not a good feeling. I had an interview with Mike Vardy, the productivityist, and one of the suggestions that he had for entrepreneurs is selecting certain themed days. So maybe when you wake up on Tuesday, okay, this is going to be social media morning, right? And you can just go and you can plan them out for the next week. So I think that's really smart. Another thing you mentioned, Clay, video. So we can also post video to RIPL. Is there a time constraint on that? Video takes up a lot more space than a digital image.
Well, we can both incorporate short videos and together with your still images and your photos. And then you can choose if you'd like to make a video output. So we give you the ability to do either static single images or a short video as an output. And most of our designs are built by default to have some motion, some overlays, text inlays, motion graphics. So really it's up to you. And the benefit of that is that, it's been shown that short animated videos just get a better engagement rate. Yeah. They pop in the feeds, they get a little bit more reach and visibility, and generally people like to like and comment on those more often than they do static. So we've built the kind of app from the ground up to make it easy for you to do that without needing a graphic designer or a videographer or any of those skills. I mean, as you said, we have the most powerful media capture device that we've ever lived with in our pocket every day in the form of our mobile phone. And because of that, RIPL is an app that runs there. You can be on the go, and you can even in the moment when you're, capturing that new product, or you've just taken a snapshot of your menu, you can go ahead and in a couple of minutes, pretty that up, get it ready, post it, and get it out in front of your followers without even necessarily needing to take a few moments, out of your kind of busy day. You can just do it right then with your phone.
Yeah. And I do like the idea of being able to pump out to multiple platforms at once. But this brings up an interesting challenge, Clay, in that these social media platforms are evolving all the time. Stories weren't even a thing 2 years ago. And now literally every single, from LinkedIn to Instagram, has stories. How, as a tech company, RIPL, are you able to evolve your company, your program, your algorithms to match these changes that are happening on all these social platforms?
Yeah, I mean, it is tough. This is probably one of the things that keeps entrepreneurs away from innovating, trying something new, is just that they feel like, well, I'll never keep up with that pace of change. But honestly, you can. This is what the benefit of third-party software tools and apps like RIPL does for you, is it helps you not have to kind of run across the top of 6 or 8 of these apps that are native to the different social platforms, and instead just use one. And we kind of do the hard work to keep up with all these changes and these trends and what's being modified, and basically keep it current for you. So to use the example you cited around stories, I mean, you're exactly right. When we originally built RIPL, we built it with just a square aspect ratio for the content posts, because at the time, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, they all essentially defaulted to that square
Right.
layout. Well, stories came along, and what works for stories is the portrait layout, that up and down kind of vertical layout. And so what we did was we quickly went back, modified all the designs in our template catalog so that you can easily toggle as you're designing your post between square or vertical. And so now in one click with RIPL, you can take what was previously a post maybe prepared for a standard feed, so to speak, change the layout and instantly post it out to the stories feed. And now you're able to like start kind of getting your feet wet and have a current, set of posts flowing out through your stories feeds, and do it, with the same tool in the same way you would have previously without having to relearn a whole different kind of approach to what you're doing with your social content.
Well, when it comes to implementing systems and logging in for your social media time, it's tough as a business owner to say, okay, I need to spend the next 3 hours posting to 6 different platforms and engaging. And then plus I need to do a story for the day. It's a little bit overwhelming. So I really like the idea of having a one-stop shop. And of course, Clay McDaniel here is the CEO of RIPL. You go to ripl.com/podcast to get a backstage pass or the front stage pass to how RIPL works. So I wanted to dive into this a little bit deeper, Clay, because this is not only the strength of your company, but it could also be a challenge for the company, right? So one place I go, I post my, let's say, image, and it pumps it out to all the major social platforms. But every single social platform is a little bit different. There's some nuance, right? If I'm posting this one, it's going out to all, how can I make sure that they're being, quote unquote, optimized for each platform?
Yeah, well, there's a couple different things that we recommend. So we're often sending out information either through the app or through our blog, through our social channels to our customer base, kind of helping them understand some of these nuances, the differences. And to be honest, I mean, all of the social platforms will take that square format.
Right.
So if you're really focused on saving time and just being as efficient as you possibly can, then we recommend you stick with the default layout, the standard, and build all your posts. Those might be sale or promotional posts. It may just be quick updates about your hours of operation, whether you've moved to curbside pickup, whatever it may be that you need to get out there and try to get out quickly to your customers, even more quickly than you can do it by trying to update your website or sending email newsletters. We recommend you just keep that standard default layout that we provide for you and all the templates that you see right when you jump in on the home screen, and quickly, update, create your text, your caption, whatever it may be, and share. And we do the hard work for you to make sure that with the API integrations of RIPL to all those social platforms, that post is going to go out and look great and show up in all those feeds. But then what we recommend is, let's say that you're going to build a series of videos that are going to go to YouTube. Well, you can toggle and change quickly to that horizontal layout, the landscape layout. And then that makes sure you're not going to have letterboxing. And so your YouTube hosted videos are going to take full advantage of that horizontal aspect ratio. As I mentioned with stories, we're starting to actually put what we call collections in, where when you come into RIPL, we've got a group of just vertical layout based templates that are quote unquote great for stories. And so, if you start there, you can pick any of those templates, get that ready to go. And then when you post it, you can make the choice to just pick the stories feeds. But if you send it out through the other feeds as well, it's still going to pass. It just may not be the right perfect layout. So really what it's about is kind of getting started, kind of learning the way as we give you that counsel, that feedback through the experience of using our software tool, what's the best fit for which location. And generally speaking, I would say, even though we have the power of all these connections to 6 or 8 different social networks, we usually recommend that entrepreneurs pick 1 or 2 where they feel the most kind of comfortable and confident and they have the highest follower base, and really focus on those. And so fairly quickly, you're going to get that kind of feedback loop of learning and figure out, what works best for my Instagram feed, or maybe what works best for my LinkedIn updates. And that's, what we kind of lock into as those default settings for your templates and what you can use to be successful for the future.
Sure. And that makes sense. I mean, I definitely agree that as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you really want to be focused 80% of your energy on 2 platforms, because trying to optimize for every platform it's an exhausting task, right? And I love the expression done is better than perfect, right? Because if you spend every second trying to optimize every hashtag and doing all this research, you're just going to end up not getting anything done, right?
Well, what's most important is that it's current. And honestly, what's going to happen is if you feel comfortable with 1 or maybe a couple different channels to provide those frequent updates, very quickly your follower base, your customers are going to figure that out, follow you there. And then that's where you're going to have kind of the richest engagement and two-way communication also. So absolutely right. I mean, the whole goal of this is to be social and to get your media out there. And so if you try to do that in too many places at once, it's just not going to feel authentic and comfortable for you. Whereas if you pick one or two and really invest a daily cadence of time, just for 5 minutes, 6 minutes, you're going to find that it's kind of like singing karaoke. That first time or two, you maybe feel a little bit nervous, a little bit uncomfortable, but honestly, you're surrounded by friends and family and supporters. Right. And so you'll get that first thumbs up, that first high five, and very quickly start to realize like, oh, this is a ton of fun. And that's the sort of quick arc that we see so many of our customers go through is they may have a little trepidation, a little concern. They pick one or two channels, get in the habit, and fairly quickly see that support and that like and comment and sharing and love come back. And that's the beautiful part about social media for a small business is how engaging it can be and supportive for them too.
Well, and it's a necessity too, because it can actually, I believe, hurt you and hurt your brand if you're creating content, but not engaging with the people that like and watch it and consume it. You know, they're taking time out of their day to appreciate something you created. You definitely want to engage. That's where the long-term ROI comes, at least in my opinion. So let's talk about that a little bit more, right? So I've got this program, I've got RIPL, I can post it. I'm pumping out content to all these different platforms. How am I able to engage? Let me back this up. How am I able to interpret the engagement there? Because I did notice as I'm playing around with the tool that there are some data points that are included in the RIPL app where I can see, okay, I got this many likes, this many shares. Am I able to engage directly through the app, or do I go straight through the social platform itself?
Yeah, so what we do is subject to what we can bring back from the different social platforms. And as you mentioned, they change this all the time in terms of what you can get through the APIs. Can I get the likes? Can I get the comments? Am I able to or not? What we do is we bring that back. And so if you go in and navigate to where we've got your posts, when you're looking at each one of your posts, we're going to bring back from Facebook, from Instagram, from Twitter, the amount of likes or comments, count that up and show that to you for each one of your posts. Mm-hmm. And the reason we do that is it's not meant to be your kind of one end all be all analytics tool. If you're really getting there, you're getting to a level of sophistication where you want to kind of deep dive and understand like every single comment, like you're getting on all those posts, have that kind of frequent interaction, then you're probably going to want to use either one of the native apps for the platform itself. Maybe if you're getting to the point where you're constantly like listening, looking for mentions of your brand, you might use a Buffer or Hootsuite, one of those tools that's kind of built for listening and for real-time engagement. What we've built RIPL for is just to give you that quick scoreboard so that as you're posting, creating content over time, you can see quickly what's coming back against that and kind of learn as you go. So you might find, oh, it turns out these kind of slideshow style posts where I show off 2 or 3 of my products instead of just one, those are getting the most kind of comments and likes. So I need to do more of that. Or you might find, ooh, when I like recognize and celebrate a customer, that's what actually ends up getting shared and people end up tagging in. And so that's helping me get more visibility for my business through the organic feeds. Okay, I'm going to do more of that. So the purpose of those analytics is just to be kind of lightweight, just enough to kind of give you a sense for how each one of the posts is doing kind of relative to each other. And honestly, like what we find is if you're going to, be doing DMs, direct messaging with individual customers or prospects that are coming back through your social channels, you're probably best using like the branded native apps that the social platforms use themselves, just because you have a richer tool set there to be able to do that messaging back and forth.
Yeah, and I think that kind of goes back to our point where you're trying new things on all the platforms, but you're really getting laser focused on 2 platforms. That's kind of where I'm at right now, and I'm always looking at new ways to try to scale this up because humans are expensive. Human capital is very expensive, and just starting off with RIPL, I mean, it's like $10-15 a month. So you can at least
and that's exactly, we built it essentially to be like a marketing team in your pocket. I mean, we've got all the graphic design capabilities, everything working in the background to combine your own pictures, your own videos, your own text into this like completely, aggregated video file all on its own. And having done this work with the connections to be able to allow you to post or to schedule it to go out to the social networks later. So to your point, it's basically giving all that power, all those tools to you, the entrepreneur, so that you don't have to kind of worry that your vision or your message is going to be translated through an aunt or a niece or a cousin or somebody that you've hired that you're just not quite sure exactly if they understand kind of your voice and your business mission. That's yours to kind of own. It's your passion, your concept or idea. It's your business. And with a tool like this, you can tell your own story and you can do it confidently.
Love it. Love it. Hey, look, before we get into the rapid fire here, I just want to remind everyone we're talking to Clay McDaniel, ripple.com/podcast. You can go try out the tool for free for a week. Clay, I do want to know about tagging, though, because this is something that's really, really important on social media. So, for example, when our episode goes live, I'm going to be tagging Clay McDaniel. I'll be tagging Ripple to make sure that all the fans of yours are going to know that it's there, right? Are we able to tag in the app? Or do we have to go to the individual post to tag? How does the tagging work with Ripple right now?
You do have to go to the individual post, and you also need to do the same thing if you want to do updates to your bio. And the reason for that is that all of the social media platforms in the last few years have kind of changed the approach such that you really only get to put a hot link or a tag in the post itself or to allow one to ride along with it if you pay for their ads. And so, we built Ripple for the kind of savvy entrepreneur who is also time starved, money starved, and really wants to use their organic feeds to best use. Now, we do see that some of our customers are though using ads as well. So what they'll do is create the video post, share it out through their feeds, and then you can easily go in through Google or through the Facebook ad manager and decide to pick that post and to boost it or to push it in front of more people using their ad platform. But we built it, for the majority of small business owners that are really using these as kind of part of their regular branded organic feeds and just want to stand out and look great in what they post there. So because you can't do a direct link or a direct tag through any kind of third-party software tool, what we recommend is create your post, get it live, and then jump over. And let's say you've got 3 people that you want to call out in it. You can then easily do that using the native social app. Just @tag them. Similarly, if you want to put an updated link in the bio, you can just write on your Ripple post link in bio, and then you need to go and update the link in your bio. So it is kind of a 2-step process sometimes. That's even the case today for Facebook and Instagram personal feeds, that we actually have to cache it and then send you over into the native app and let you finally hit the button to hit post so that it goes out. So, we're kind of working with this environment that is somewhat diverse. It's a broad array of these social platforms, and we're taking as much of the kind of time and confusion and effort out of it as we can for you. But to your point, if you want to really build up your hashtags, if you want to tag individuals or other businesses in the post, you're still going to need to do that using the native app itself.
And that's fair enough. I mean, things are going to be always evolving. To me, it sounds like a very interesting product. I'm kind of looking forward to playing with it here for the next week during my free trial period, and we'll see how I like it personally. And of course, this is ripple.com/podcast. You can get your free trial. But what I'm seeing here, Clay, is you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on an entire marketing team, social media team. You've got social media marketing light for $10 to $15 a month in your pocket. And it sounds like a good idea. At some point you might need to evolve to a whole team, either in-house or out-house. I know a few business owners that are paying tens of thousands of dollars just for social media management. And I kind of wonder how much could be cut out with a simple program like this. I don't know. A non-zero.
Well, amount. Look, this is kind of a chance to be like an on-ramp onto social media marketing for yourself. And if you want to try to do more scale, whatever, let's say your business results support that. You possibly even want to start, as I said, doing ads, doing targeted Instagram ads. All those options are available to you. But, it's important to just kind of get a start, get a foothold and start somewhere. Start somewhere putting your voice and your kind of products and your updates out there. And this is a way to do that, as you said, for like the cost of, one lunch a month, as opposed to having to make some big commitment, go hire an agency or even hire somebody that you think they may be talking a good story, but you're not quite sure if they've really got the skills. Why not use software, the power of software, the way that MailChimp has transformed the email marketing industry, the way that Wix and Squarespace and GoDaddy and WordPress have changed the approach that we can take with managing our own websites now. We're a part of kind of the most recent revolution where we're putting the power of social media marketing in your own hands too.
I like it. And as we go into 2021, this is something I've really been looking at, Clay, is what systems can I eliminate? What systems do I want to bring in? What am I going to try this year? How can I improve my business? Because if there's ever a time to evolve your business, now is the time. And of course, you go to ripple.com/podcast and try out this really innovative and unique social media marketing tool. Cool. Clay, before I let you go, I'd be remiss if we did not get into the world famous rapid fire. Are you ready? You strapped in?
I think so.
Right.
Lay it on me, Mark.
What is a must-have business item that costs less than $50?
I could not live without my Moleskine notebook. I still am analog and old school when it comes to my to-do lists. And so I can't live without an 8-inch black notebook, and Moleskine's my favorite.
Gotcha. What is a must-have subscription in your life right now, other than Ripple? What's a must-have subscription?
Spotify. I am from a very young age just a constant music listener, and Spotify told me that I listened to something like 100 minutes a day, I think, last year. So I get enormous benefit out of my Spotify subscription.
Yeah, Spotify, big. Definitely a company to be watching over the next 5 years, I'd say. Definitely a big company to watch. What is the most important quality of a CEO?
Curiosity. It's actually the thing I think I have to work on all the time. It's a lifelong endeavor for me to make sure I'm asking more questions than answering. And I think especially in a startup context, like, the team's changing, the environment's changing, our strategy has to adjust as the market changes. And so I think I try to remind myself often that the more I can kind of look for the pieces of the unknown, the more I can demonstrate sort of empathy and curiosity with my team, the more likely I am to be able to help them.
Good answer. Clay, if you had 10 seconds with yourself 10 years ago, what would you say?
I'm going to mimic a quote that I heard in a recent episode of Ted Lasso, but I just love it. It's kind of connected to my previous answer, I guess, a little bit, but I would tell myself to be curious, not judgmental. And that's just because I think at a young age, you may feel like you're on top of the world and you've learned what you need to know. But boy, I am fast approaching 50 and realize more and more every day that curiosity is most likely going to be what helps me in the second phase of life, not trying to feel like I've got all the answers every day.
Love it. Stay curious, ladies and gentlemen. Clay McDaniel, thank you for your time, brother. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. I love the questions and the conversation. And there's one thing I would just tell your listeners, if you're not doing it today, dive in, take this opportunity with all the changes that this year has brought to put your best foot forward and do it yourself on social media. You really can. Just get started.
Yes. Love it. Right on point, Clay. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the time.
I'm glad you enjoyed this episode. I've got several other episodes right here for you. Smash one of these videos to make sure that you don't miss out on the tips, tools, and tactics of industry experts. Let's take that side hustle full time. Smash one of these links.